Hello, it's Jack Lookman again. Sorry to trouble you. It's Jack Lookman of jacksinspiration.com. Our mission and vision is to empower and inspire generations. This YouTube channel is Jack Lookman. We have a Facebook presence as well. It's Empowerment, Inspiration and Support. And we have a website, it's jacksinspiration.com. On this YouTube video, it's more of basic recordings. On the website especially, we have information, it's a blog, so we have written blogs. We aspire to continue adding to the list. And in addition to the blogs, we'll even dig a bit deeper and have ebooks and maybe paperbacks. So what we do, we talk about business ideas, we talk about life experiences, and we also talk about mindset issues, etc. The overriding aim is to empower and inspire generations. The topic for today is monetizing the bath sponge. What's the bath sponge? In my native Yoruba language, it's called coin. But the bath sponge, if you want to take a shower or bath, it's what you use to rub your body to make sure you clean it and all that. How is it used? Yeah, add your shower gel or your soap to it, and then use it to scrub the body. That's basically how it's used. We have different examples of bath sponge, but the ones I will talk about, I've talked about two major ones. There's one which is of lighter material. It's long in length. That's how it is, and then you use it to wash your body. It's almost like cloth material. It's lighter. And then you have another one which is also in the market, which is a bit coarse. It's all like a round ball, and the material is a bit tougher. And these are the two major ones I want to talk about. How much do they cost? Probably less than £1 or probably less than £2 each. I think the lighter one, which is longer, is about maybe 50p or something like that. And the other one is a bit higher cost, which is about £1 or something like that. Now the pros and cons of each of them. The scrub with the lighter one, which is of the lighter thickness and lighter material, it's good. It washes the body, and it scrubs the body, and the heels, the heels of your feet, it doesn't really massage it per se. It's too light, but it does the job. It scrubs the body. The other one, which is runner, is of a higher material. It scrubs it even better. It's able to scrub it even better. Easy to use. The longer one is not too easy to use. You have to keep squeezing and folding it together and all that. And even though they sell it in singles, when I used to use it, I had to actually double it, but it was not too convenient. The other one is easier to wash. It's to wash the body. It does the job. It's easy to use. You might just add the shower gel maybe once or twice, and it does the job. So that's also easy to use. But I'll come to something else again. It does an effective, but both of them do effective body washes. But if you want to have a bigger scrub, the small one, the round one, does a better job in terms of doing the wash. In terms of the foot massage, the long one, which is of lighter material, it doesn't do the foot massage as well. But I noticed I was having I don't know what they're called, but on the foot, especially the back of the foot, it doesn't massage it very well. But the rounder one, which is of coarser material, that does a very good job at that foot massage. Now here comes the big one, the back scrub. As you get older, people like myself, it's difficult to actually wash the top of the back. With the longer material, which is of a lighter material, you can take it and wash the back effectively. For the coarser material, the one which is round, I know you have some of them which come with a wooden stick which you can use to wash the back, but that means you have to use two products. You have to use the ordinary round one to do your normal wash, and then you have to use the one with the stick to reach the back. With the lighter material, you can easily use it on the back, and it should reach all the parts of the back, so that does the back scrub for you. The cost implications, the lighter one is obviously cheaper than the other one, which is coarser. The convenience, if it's talking about washing the body itself, they do good jobs. I would say the bigger, I prefer the more expensive one, which is the round one of a tougher material. I enjoy that better. The quality, the experience is actually very good. Are they easily available in this day and age? Almost anything is available. You know, you can get it in the supermarkets, you can get them in the supermarkets, you can get them on the internet, etc. So they are both available, easily available. The flexibility, I think the longer one is easier, is more flexible. No, but not too much, because you have to keep folding together and all that to get a better wash. But I think I prefer the round one. That does a better job for me, etc. Now, what's my value proposition? I'm not much of a politician. I used to be a politician when I was studying, but one of my strengths is being someone in the middle. Some people call me diplomatic. Some people, you might call it compromise director or something like that. Sometimes in the middle, I see things from both sides of the coin. Now, what's the value proposition? I've mentioned that the round one is of good quality, etc., but it doesn't wash the back, especially for those of us who are getting older who find it difficult reaching the top of the back. The long one, on the other hand, it washes the back quite well, it reaches the back, but the material is not as strong and it doesn't do the foot massage very well. Now, my value proposition is to have a sponge that actually does both. One that can be round and coarse, so you can use it to scrub your body properly, and one that you can actually use to wash the back. How do you do that? What I'm proposing, I've not done the design, but I'm going to give an idea. Isn't it possible to have a product which is round, like the round one, and then which you can stretch so that it can actually do the back work for you? That's it basically in simple English. It's a stretching round one, so that when you want to wash the back, you stretch it, and when you want to wash the rest of the body, it's round and you have a good experience. Now, what's the target market? Almost all over the world. I know they say cleanliness is next to godliness, but it's one thing that most people do every day. They take a bath. So obviously, if people find value in what you're offering, then the market is yours, maybe 70%, 80% or 90%. And this is all over the world. So you can do a product, and eat into all those markets. Or if you're a producer that already does the sponges, maybe you can upgrade what you're doing so you can reach this. Like they say, the life is moving, so what you've been doing for the last 10 years is probably not going to be relevant to what people will be doing in the next 10 years. So there's a target market for it. What's different about the product? Instead of using I mentioned I prefer the round one, but for the round one to do a proper job, you use the round one for the most part of your body, and probably get one with a stick to wash the upper parts of your back. But what I'm proposing is actually a single product that will wash the body, and instead of having a stick and a sponge, you just use the same sponge and just stretch it and wash the back as well. You might want to find out if you're going to have a product that stretches and you use it on the body, will there be health and safety issues? Basically, you need to do your research. You need people to conduct. They need to conduct. What are they called again? Experiments and all that to see that it's safe to use. Would it be more expensive? Probably just slightly more expensive in my estimation. It should be too much more expensive. Whether there will be need for market research and all that. Although one thing I want you to know is that the cycle of the business, of a business venture, you need to do market research. You need to get people to try the product, maybe family, maybe friends, maybe your network, or maybe outsiders, and let them give feedback on the product. And when they give you feedback, you can improve the product and all that. You have to find out, if they like the product, if it's value for money, if they'll be willing to pay the price for the money, whatever prices you've set, etc. Those are all part of market research. The quality doesn't need to be compromised. It's something that can be of almost the same quality as the round one. Maybe you might do a bit more work, but I don't think the quality will be compromised. You might also need to do a business plan, how you're going to execute this. How much you need to put in terms of resources, time, money, and other resources. You need to articulate a proper business plan. Your business plan is like your Bible, it's like your roadmap on how you go about the business. If something fails, you have your plan A, your plan B, and plan C, etc. So you need to do a proper business plan and follow it. Your marketing plan is also going to be part of that. Market research is probably part of the marketing plan, and then also how you're going to sell it and all those other details. You have to work on that. Whether you're going to be selling it more on the internet, whether you're going to give it to marketing outlets like supermarkets, street shops and things like that. That's all part of your marketing plan. The features of this product, basically you can steal bits and pieces from all the products that are in the market. Basically, it's going to be that round ball, etc. It's going to have a stretcher which you can stretch to wash the back. It's going to have a rubber stop, so that by the time you finish your bath, you can just hang it on the bathroom tile in the bathroom. And I think those are the major, and maybe a hanger if you need to hang it. So I think these are the major features of the product. And of course the material is almost going to be identical to that of the round one. The materials to be used, the same type of material is going to be a bit roundish. It's a bit synthetic, and they talk about foliage and all those other things. As long as it does a good job and it ticks all the boxes, that's good enough to be used. On the lifespan of the product, well, the product itself, it might continue for a long time. I know people could use it for maybe 5 years, 10 years, but I think it's good practice to get rid of it within a year or two, so that, the more you use it, they say bacteria piles up and all those other things. Effectively, if you have a low budget, you might use it for 5 or 10 years, maybe. But in reality, if you want to be very health conscious, as in 100% or 110% health conscious, maybe after 1 or 2 years, you might want to dispose of it. Now you have to think about the colors of the product. Is it going to be bright colors? Is it going to be dark colors? Is it going to be all of the above? You have to factor this into your business plan so that, and of course when you're getting feedback, you see which colors sell most. For example, if the lighter colors sell most, or even if it's multi-colors, if those are the ones that sell most, then you produce more of them. And the ones that sell less, you do less of them. And that way you're able to optimize your sales. For the financial investment, I know sometimes people who have the ideas and all that don't necessarily have money. And some people who have all the money don't actually have the ideas. So in order to bridge that gap, as part of your business plan, you might do all the work, you can articulate the business plan and all of the other plans. Look for somebody, maybe 1 or 2 people or even more people who want to invest in your business. I know there's people talk about selling of shares. That's an option. Crowdfunding can be an option, and maybe venture capitalists, maybe, and angel, what are they called? Angel investors or whatever. Explore options and see what works best for you. I'm not a very big proponent of getting bank loans which are interest based, because of my experience with interest based loans. So because in my experience, look at COVID-19 for example, when things are now down, when there's no work, etc. Those who are collecting interest will probably still collect interest, whether you're making money or not. So it's not been a very good experience for me, but explore your options and see what works for you. I've mentioned a few, and then you can do your due diligence and research and do whatever is best for you. Of course, you have to do the product trials to make sure it's working and working properly, and that it's not a health hazard, and that people are happy with what you have. If you have a product which causes cancer or anything like that later on, people might sue you for that, and all the money you think you've made, you might actually have to cough it out. So do your product trials. On the one hand, make sure it ticks the health and safety boxes, and then 2, to make sure that people enjoy the experience of using the product, and 3, that it's top of the range or something that people would like to buy, and that it's value for money as well. You have to explore as well legal issues. There are issues around copyright. Make sure you're not infringing on anybody's copyright. And in your case, I'm using the word copyright, but let's say intellectual rights. So maybe make sure you're not infringing on anyone's intellectual rights. And whenever you decide to do your own product, make sure you do your trademark or protect the intellectual property to make sure that somebody else doesn't go and copy what you've done and is selling it at a bit of a cheaper price and making even more money than you. So you have to protect yourself legally and make sure you don't get into any legal trouble. Of course, the production is going to take a lot of money. You probably have to have a machine that's going to do produce the product, and that's going to take some money. But you have to cost that. You have to put in factors of safety to make sure that whatever you've planned. For example, if you plan the cost of £100,000, for example, if there are contingencies or things like that, make sure they are provided for. So maybe you might add an extra 20% or something like that, and then make sure that way, if there are a bit of tricky areas, that covers all of that. You have to do your competitor research. What is it that your competitor is doing? What are the products they've got? How do they go about their marketing, etc.? And you have to be able to be over and above that, so that at the end of the day you're able to compete very favorably in the marketplace. Now the costing, you have to do the costing properly. You need to know what the cost of production is, the capital cost, all those machinery you have, all the labor cost, staff, all the logistics. If you have to take it from point B to point B, maybe to one shop here or to different countries and all, you have to cost all that. So, because if you don't cost it properly, you might not actually make a profit. And the whole purpose of having a business is in order to have a profit and make a lot of money from your business. So that costing is very important. If you sell it too cheap, you might not make your money. And if you sell it too expensively, people might not buy. So you have to get the right balance and make sure that it's in line with what your market wants. You need to know who your market is. For example, if it's a cheaper product, that's almost for everybody and anybody. But if you want to sell a premium product, maybe £2, maybe £3 or whatever it is, then you know the type of market you are targeting. So that costing is very important. And if you like, you might do a dual product, one for the lower end of the market and one for the higher end, and even maybe for the medium end. It's up to you. So you can put all those logistics in your planning. Now also the logistics. Now it's one thing to produce all those things. Now how is it going to get from your local shop? How is it going to get to different areas, different parts of the country, maybe different parts of the world, etc.? You have to put all those details into your business plan. You have to plan, in some cases, maybe a truck is taking it from one place to another place. Maybe the truck is either relayed on the road, maybe the things get stolen or the truck even collapses or anything like that. So you have to put all this into consideration and make sure you do watertight legal agreements such that on the one hand, you might get people to come and collect it, from wholesalers to come and collect it from your shop, and then they distribute and all that, which means it's not your business whether there's a logistic failure or not. But on the other hand, if it's you decides that, oh, I want to make more money and I'll do the distribution myself, it's up to you. But make sure you do your logistics right so that it reaches the right audience. The design is also very important. You don't want to just do something that works, but you want to do something that is visually amenable to people, something they would like to use, something they would like to, the look and feel must be very, very good. And that's part of what will attract your customers to buying what you're doing. It's not just that it works, but also that they enjoy the experience, they like the looks and all that. So that's very important. So the design is also very important. Now, you may ask the question, who will it benefit? There are quite a few people it will benefit. The designer, for one. If the designer owns the intellectual property, each time or each year or each period, it gets, it gets part of his royalty for the design, depending on the agreement. Or if you decide, you might buy over the design rights, the intellectual rights, that's up to you. But obviously the designer will benefit because it's going to make money from it. The lawyer who is going to make agreements, a lot of people trivialize the role of the lawyer. They are very, very important people. There was a case, for example, of one musician in my native Nigeria, very talented man, he's still alive, did lots of beautiful music, but most of his early works, which were extremely very good, his producer decided to get a lawyer to get this musician to sign up a lot of his rights. So even though the music was beautiful, the face of the musician was on the label and all those other things, but it was actually the producer or the manager who was making all the money. So that is the role of the lawyer. There's also the case of a boxer in the recent past. Sorry, it was a very good boxer, but at some point he related on his efforts and he was knocked out. But what saved him, his lawyer did a clause in the contract that if he loses within 6 months or something like that, he's going to be entitled to a rematch. So that way he was able to have a rematch and he was able to regain his belt. But what's the wisdom in that? If, for example, there was not that clause, maybe the person who beat him in the boxing match, even that one might think, oh, this guy is very good, he might beat me, and he might just continue delaying a rematch until maybe much later or never. But eventually that guy had a good lawyer, they signed up a rematch clause, and this guy came back and he got back his belt. So that was by virtue of the legal team and the lawyer who did all that. The producer is also going to or the manufacturer is going to benefit from it. As a business person, you can either outsource this or you can do it yourself. But by producing it, you're actually going to make money. The marketers are going to make money as well. They're going to market the product for you. This might range from affiliate marketers to full-scale marketers who are going to be doing the marketing of the products. They might market on the internet, social media, print media, television, etc. But the role of the marketer is very important, and they will also benefit from the process. The business owner, whoever is owning the business, obviously is going to benefit from it because it's going to make the profit and all that. The users, those who are going to use it, if it's a product that meets their needs, if it ticks all the boxes, then obviously they'll be happy to buy it and to actually broadcast to the rest of the world that, oh, my people, I bought this beautiful, wonderful sponge. You might want to try it out. So they will benefit from it as well. Critics will also benefit. Remember, whatever you do in life, those critics are always there. You have the constructive critics and you have the destructive critics. Whichever way it is, you're going to keep them busy. Those who are constructive critics, of course, with anything in life, there is no perfection by anyone. So at the end of the day, the constructive critics might make suggestions of one way or the other to improve the product or improve the service or whatever. And the destructive critics will always find something wrong with it but cannot provide a solution. So those critics will always be busy, maybe in newspapers, maybe in blogs or whatever. And also your competitors might actually get destructive critics to try and knock down the product and all that. So that will keep them busy as well. So the critics are going to be kept busy, maybe in their blogs, on the whatever media they use, newspapers, magazines, etc. Those who are for, those who are against and all that, they write whatever they need to write, and this would have an impact on their audience and all that. So to keep them busy, whatever medium they're using might sell as well, and they are also going to benefit from it. Of course, the employees of whichever business it is, they will benefit. They'll have a job, and they will have skills, and they will get trained and all that. So, and they will have money to take home at the end of the business. So they will also benefit. And maybe there are other people down the line who actually may benefit. But in summary, what I would say, when you ask me what is the suggested product, it's a new, effective, wonderful bath sponge, one that ticks many of the boxes I've mentioned earlier. Basically, it's going to be a sponge that can wash all parts of the body, including the back and the upper back. It's going to be user-friendly, and it's going to be a product which might replace what is already in existence. I hope this talk has been very beneficial. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Jack Lookman. My website and my blog is jacksinspiration.com. Our mission and vision is to empower and inspire generations. Our YouTube channel is Jack Lookman, and I hope you like, share and subscribe so that other people can benefit from the videos. Our Facebook group is Empowerment, Inspiration and Support, and basically our aim, like I've said, is to empower and inspire generations. I hope this talk has been of value. Have a wonderful day. Ireo, Jack Lookman.